Hello, I'm Onyx. I'm gonna be showcasing a little bit of something different today. I was asked to do a little bit of a helicopter tutorial on how to basically fly a helicopter. I'm on at the moment I'm on Jensen's range in squad, and I am just gonna show you a little bit about how helicopters in squad work, different types of landings, what to think about when you're flying, and stuff like that. So, if you like the video or like the content, feel free to like the video, comment, and subscribe to the channel. So, let's take a look at a couple of basic how to basically fly a helicopter in squad. You start up your end. You can see up to my right here I have all the key bindings. That's essentially for how you do stuff in your helicopter. It doesn't say you can hold your left alt to do a free look, but not a lot of people know this. If you hold your alt and you click your left shift like so, you can actually zoom in, which helps you a lot when you're actually flying around spotting. This is a really useful function to use. If you don't hold alt, it's just a zoom down to your dashboard. Just get high on, zoom in on your instruments just to see what's happening. But to fire up your aircraft, you just hold E. The aircraft will slowly start spooling up. As you can see here, the rotors will start turning. For some reason I'm out of sync with my character, but don't mind that. So once the aircraft is fired up, in order to take off, you just hold your W and you will raise your collective. As you can see here on that bar, that's your collective. Now we're up in the air. In order to just stay at a steady hover, you just keep your collective at around 44%, plus minus a couple percentage, and you'll stay at a steady hover. It's not 50% which a lot of people think it is. It's actually 44. That's the or 45 actually. That's the steady hover. And in order, and how to control your aircraft, you have WS for your collective, as I said, and you have A and D, which turns your aircraft. And for you guys who don't know this, a collective is basically the amount of raise you have on your helicopter, how much upward lift you're giving it. So yeah, and to control your aircraft, you use your mouse. You simply, if you want to go forward, you just bank your aircraft forward by pitching forward with your mouse, like so. And to go backwards, it's the opposite. Back it backwards. You can also pay attention to my little graph here. You see the roll will change how the aircraft is maneuvering, as you can see here. So same with the pitch. The roll is your basically how much sideways pitch you have, and the pitch is how much forward and backwards angle you have. So keep that in mind. So let's try to get some speed here. Let's bank the helicopter forward, and you will quickly notice that I will lose altitude here. So let's up the collective and keep banking until we find the sweet spot where I'm gaining speed and not gaining too much altitude. So you can see I stopped gaining altitude so I can level up my aircraft, and I'm still gaining speed. So in order to turn your helicopter, you basically just shift your mouse to the left or right, like so, and you'll notice if I don't move, my aircraft will keep trying to ditch down in the ground. So you constantly have to like bank back on your mouse or drag back on your mouse to level it out, like so. And in order to land the aircraft, well, you have to let's see if we can find the runway again, or the training range, and let's land where we came from. There it is. And in order to land, you basically find your designated target area, and I pretty much just eyeball it, but you drop your collective like around here while you're leveling out your aircraft, like so, and just up your collective when you see you're falling a little bit too fast. And if you're coming in too fast, just bank a little bit more backwards. And yeah, that's pretty much how you come in for a landing. And now you just you come in and you just do a little bit of mouse work and get her exactly where you want her. That's basically how you fly, nice and easy. And now you can kill the engine. So yeah, that's how you basically do flying in Squad. It's really basic flying, and there are many types of landings you can do in Squad. Basically what I did now, I just did a regular speed bleed. It takes a lot of time, it takes a lot of space to do. But yeah, that's how you do a basic landing and basic takeoff. There are many ways to do it. I'm gonna show you guys a couple more. Like I said earlier, there's a lot of different ways to land in Squad. You can utilize a normal speed bleed, which I just showed you, or you can do a so-called Jayhook. I'm just gonna show you here real quick what a Jayhook, in my opinion, looks like. There's many ways of doing a Jayhook. I see a lot of people do it differently. I'm gonna show you how I do it personally. What you want to do is we're going to keep a fairly low altitude and a high speed. The Jayhook is really effective at high speeds. So what you want to do, you want to come into your LC, pull back on your stick, and bank sideways. It kind of looks like you're doing a weird backflip of some sort. And yeah, you want to do a lot with your collective, like you saw there. When I started the bank backwards, I dropped my collective. Like, I'll do it once more. Get some speed here. What I do is, as soon as I start banking backwards, I just drop my collective all the way to 0. And as soon as I start leveling out the helicopter again, I will up the collective, like seen here. Right, so bank backwards, drop collective, bank sideways, level out, up the collective, and start lowering it to descent. As you can see, it's a really effective fast rate landing. You can really come down fast. You will lose your speed almost immediately. Like, I'm pretty sure I just started the speed bleed around probably just in front of me here, and I pretty much landed just around where I started the speed bleed. And you can be fairly accurate with this. I'm not going to say I'm really accurate with this, but you can land in tight spots. There's a lot of cool stuff you can do with the Jayhook. I personally pretty much only do Jayhooks. See if I can land on this helipad here. Right, that's not good. Well, there we go. On the pad. Not the best landing, but it works. So yeah, that's how I do a personal Jayhook. Alright, so let's take a look at some possible combat, some possible in-game scenarios where you, let's say someone wanted a fob, and I currently am playing on Gorodoc. And this is a typical layer where the caps will go in this direction, and this little farmstead here is a typical position for a fob. So let's say I'm dropping off a squad to build a fob here, like so. And not a lot of people know this, but you can actually land inside here. It takes a lot of stick work and precision, but it's what I always recommend to do is for new pilots is to load up maps like Gorodoc and just keep practicing this. just so you can learn where your rotors are, how much space you actually need in order to do a landing properly, how to correctly bleed your speed, and yeah. So I'm gonna try to attempt a landing inside that farmstead. See how this goes. I'm gonna try come in for a Jayhook above and slowly make my way in here. As you can see, I have plenty of space here. And still fine on my tail. And you can see, you can now drop off your infantry. You can now place a fob. And you can also unload all your supplies. And you can nice and easily take off again. And go back to main and resupply. Fill up your helicopter and come back with both ammunition or build points, all depending on what they need. Alright, let's talk about something called map awareness. Basically, when you're a pilot, you still have access to your little your not so little minimap. And a good thing is to keep an eye out for the minimap and look out for enemy vehicle markers or assets like a tow position or a cornet or whatever. So let's say you're wanted to land, I don't know, not there. Let's say they want you to land here. And there is an enemy tank up there. And there's an enemy IFV over there. That's a not so good position to go to anymore, because let's say that's a BTR. He will take you down from the air really fast. A tank, if he has a decent gunner that has a really high accuracy, he can take you down with one shot. So if this was the case, I would not land on this position. I would say no. We need to deal with these threats first, then I can come in and assist you with supplies. Yeah. One more thing to keep in mind is try to communicate through command comms, like know your surroundings, if vehicles are moving around or so on. So let's say they want you to land over here, or not land, they want you to resupply supplies on this fob, like so. And a normal flight path would be, like the line suggests, a straight path. But let's say there's a, I don't know, a tracked IFV there. There is a BTR or a wheeled IFV here, let's say the Russians. Then you're really straight. Well, let's say there is a cornet over there. This straight line would not be so good anymore. So if this was the case, what I would personally do, I would come in over here, like so, and keep a fairly low flight path, and try to avoid this area right here, where the enemies are. And I would just come in like so, start turning in over here, then I would approach to the target area, which is over here. Now you're staying away from the hostile hostile vehicles, and you're kind of coming in unnoticed and unseen. They cannot hear you until you're fairly pretty much over here, which is giving them really little time to react on you. So what I would do in this case, I would not come in with a normal speed bleed. I would just come in as fast as I could and just land with a Jayhook, which is the fastest landing method I know, personally at least. And if you're completely new to flying in squad and all of this I just said does not make sense, or if you're an experienced pilot and you just laughed at everything I just saw, I don't care. But a good tip to all new players is to come up here, to click on this training back in the main squad event page. When you boot up your game, you will come to this page right here. You can click on training and you can click on pilot tutorial. What you want to do is you want to load up the pilot training tutorial. You basically have to come here, you have to pick up a pilot kit, you jump in the helicopter, and then you fly it through rings just to learn how to maneuver the helicopter. After you've flown through a couple of rings, you'll eventually have to land, and all of this is timed, so you can try to beat your own time. Basically, this flight takes around 10 minutes, I think. It's a really long flight. It goes all the way down here, all the way up here, doing some zigzags over here. Then you're gonna have to land over here, do some more zigzaggy things, land over here, more zigzaggy things, then land up here, and then come in for a fast landing here, if I remember correctly. So if you're completely new to flying in squad, I would always recommend
It takes a little while for the
trying
rotors to spin up, but once you see the
do
landed
this
light turn
tutorial
on,
right here.
you're ready to
Don't
take
mind
off.
that guy talking.
To take off,
But yeah.
simply raise your collective.